Okay, so this video will be about pet owners, the truth about pet owners and animals. The title is Leave Animals Alone. Now, I have to mention this. I love animals. I grew on a farm. You know, every summer vacation, I used to go to this farm belonging to my aunt and uncle. My childhood is basically living on this farm, and I was surrounded by every kind of animal. Dogs, cats, cows, horses, geese, ducks, sheep, goats, whatever, right? Every kind of animal. So I had a pretty good relationship with animals. No problem. I love animals, but I will never own a pet because I believe that human beings and animals don't belong together. I mean, if you have a consciousness and if you operate on logic, you will understand that we have a negative effect on animals. We corrupt them, right? And because of this, we force them to act unnaturally. Because of course, a natural animal doesn't want to be anywhere near human beings. If you've been in a forest, you will see and you will know that animals don't want anything to do with you. It's simple as that, because instinct dictates that they should stay away from human beings, right? So here is the truth why people own pets, right? And especially in this day and age where people, they take it to a next level that is concerning to me and also funny. It's hilarious. This is what I say, that these animal lovers, they would do just about anything for an animal, which is fine. I've seen people that will that treat their pets like their babies, and I've seen people that there is no doubt that they are one step away from, performing cunnilingus on their pets. No cap. But this is the problem that I have discerned, that most of these animal lovers, animal enthusiasts, they would do just about anything to help an animal, but if they would do absolutely nothing for a fellow human being, right? They would just pass a homeless orphan by without, batting an eye. And this is just my observation. It's subjective. But this is what I have observed, right? Which is fine. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I have seen this time and time again. Most animal lovers would do just about anything for animals. When it comes to other human beings, oh boy, let me tell you, they wouldn't move a finger, right? But anyway, so why do people keep pets? Okay, most people keep pets because it is far more easier, the maintenance, right? Most pets are, emotional pillows, and emotional pillows for people, right? It's far more easier to handle a pet than another human being, or maybe a partner, or a spouse, or maybe even a child. Most people today, youngsters my age or even younger, prefer to have a couple of pets than have kids. This is very telling. Right? It's comfortable having a pet. A pet, because you give it food, shelter, and a bit of affection, a pet will always be there for you to comfort you, and therefore you should realize by now that this is all about you. It's not about the pet, right? People have pets because, let's be honest, from a plain psychological reason, pets give a person, a pet owner, the high, the thrill that they are superior to another creature, first and foremost. Secondly, having a pet gives you this sense of superiority, that you are in control, that this little creature is at your mercy, that this creature worships you like a god, etc., etc., right? So there's some sort of sick, bizarre, disgusting sense of superiority, when you know that you own this creature and that this creature is at your mercy. This is obvious, right? Secondly, because you give food and shelter to this creature therefore is forced to be your comfort blanket whenever you feel down, whenever you feel sad. This animal has to be at your disposal, of course, right? When you're down, your pet has to be available, right? No matter what, because it is far more easier, because what else is a pet going to do? A pet has absolutely no job than to be your emotional blanket. When it comes to people, however, in a relationship, let me tell you, it isn't so easy. That is why people prefer pets over a partner these days, because a partner, unlike an animal, will see through your bullshit, will call you out, will criticize you, and that person will not be available emotionally to comfort you whenever you so desire, right? Because human beings aren't mindless animals. So that is why most people prefer pets these days, because having a partner, having a relationship is extremely hard work. And most people, if you've noticed, can make relationships work today in any shape or form. I wonder why. Because people only want and they seldomly give back. And a relationship, folks, is equal exchange. You give exactly what you receive. You receive exactly the amount that you give, okay? So this is basically what's happening with this pet, owning a pet phenomenon, right? It's far more easier than being in a relationship with another human being, right? And pets are always available whenever you so please, because pets don't know any better. Animals do not have a true personality, true independence of their own. So animals do not have, a true independence of the mind when they are with an owner. It is so, right? When you demand comfort, your cat or your dog has to be available. No question whatsoever. If they dislike this command, this order, well, maybe they're not going to be fed this day. You know what I'm trying to say? And of course, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. Hopefully, nobody's insulted or offended, but I call shit for what it is. I don't like hypocrisy. I'm all about the truth, and this is what it seems to be going on here from my observations. Right? Yet again, I love animals to death, but I would never own a pet because animals don't belong with us. We're no good for them. Right? We have a corrupting negative effect on animals, right? And I think, and this is just me, my subjective opinion, but I think the fact that human beings own pets, almost solely based on cuteness alone. Have you noticed this? Whenever people talk about their pets or animals in general, it's all about, oh, they're so cute. They're so cute. The cuteness, so artificial, so superficial. This is the only criteria why people adopt animals. The singular criteria is the level of cuteness. That is it. If the fucking thing is cute, then people will adopt. If they're not so cute, then maybe not. Of course, I'm not talking about anybody, but this is the majority of cases. Cuteness. Absolutely artificial, superficial. It is repulsive to me. I don't get this cuteness. People are so obsessed with cuteness and the cuteness of animals. It's repulsive. It's childish. And here's another thing. It, it is a sort of fetish. It is a sort of fetish. Animals, cute animals, have been fetishized, and I don't know. It's disgruntling to me, at least. Right? Leave animals alone, folks. They do not belong with us. Animals do not belong in an apartment or in a house. Animals need to be surrounded by nature. Okay? We fucked up by leaving the forest to come into cities. Let's not subject animals to the same fate, right? Our fate is plastic. Okay? So let's not subject animals to the same plastic fate. The same thing with plants. Okay, plants do not belong indoors. Okay, leave animals alone, leave plants alone. These two creatures, they belong outside in nature, surrounded by trees and shrubbery. They do not belong on your bookshelf. Okay, it's just me, I think people are a bit immature, and I'm gonna have to say this. You cannot own another living thing. You cannot. It's impossible. It's impossible. What are you, a slave over now? Slave owner? Right? A living thing cannot own another living thing. The fact that you put, the collar on your cat and dog clearly states that you have made your claim on that creature's life, that creature is your property. It's bad. It's bad. That's pure evil in my case. An animal cannot be your property. Cannot be your property. So stop chipping your pets. Okay, you do not have the right. Okay, and I'm not some fucking animal rights activist. Get that shit out of your head. I just hate bullshit. Bullshit. The truth is staring you in the face. Leave animals alone. You do not have the right to castrate or neuter your pet. You don't. You do not have the right to dictate, whether or not your female pet gets to have cubs or not, or pups. You do not have the right over the reproductive system of your fucking pet. Okay, you don't. You simply have absolutely no right. So, of course, if you think you do, I would suggest that the best course of action is to release that animal into the wild. Human beings, and animals, they don't mix. They do not belong together. And listen, folks, I'm gonna have to tell you this. Animals are not your friends. Animals are not your babies. Animals are not your companions. Animals are not your bros, right? Animals are not here in this existence to be your emotional blankets whenever you're down, okay? Animals are animals with instincts and reflexes, primordial, okay? I always laugh at these people who own dogs, and they say, oh, my doggo, he or she is just the most peaceful, loving doggo in the world, right? And they say, oh, my doggo never bit anybody, never barked on anybody, right? Let me tell you, your doggo has fangs, has teeth that were designed by nature to crush bones, to crush the jugulars of prey, right? Just because your doggo doesn't attack anybody near you, right, doesn't mean that it will not attack strangers. Your animal, your pet, your doggo is so loving with you and your family and your friends and such is because you provide food, shelter, and a bit of affection. That is why your doggo or your kitty cat, that is why they're so chill with you and yours. That doesn't mean that they're going to be chill with somebody else, right? And I used to see these, let's call it these women that are, so thin like a straw, and they have these gigantic, and I mean gigantic dogs, and they're taking them for walks. Have you seen this? I mean, if that giant-ass beast will see a cat or maybe a kid running, let me tell you, that dog is gonna go chase that bitch, and they're gonna fucking rip your fucking arm off from the shoulder. That animal is pure muscle, pure instinct, and you are this thin, okay? And I laugh because I see these thin-ass women with these gigantic dogs, and they never assume that maybe one day the instinct will kick in and they'll dislocate your shoulder because they want to chase a cat. You don't know animals. You don't know animals. You've had pets before, but you do not know anything about animals. Okay? They're pure instinct. And if push comes to shove, and if there is no other alternative, if they run out of food, let me tell you, your cute kitty cats will eat your face. It is so. It is so. It's pure instinct. You gotta wake up to the reality, okay, of the fact. You know, and this is just something that kind of bothers me, and it's also hilarious, is all of these people, I've seen them, they've multiplied like mushrooms. These people who walk their dogs constantly, this is the sole reason they exist. This is the only thing that keeps them alive. You know, listen, folks, I've seen people, groups of people walking one dog, and I mean 7, 8, 9, 10 people walking a little itty bitty dog, right? Old people, young people, they walk their dogs and they pick up the steaming pile of shit with, you know, a plastic glove or whatever. And and I look at these people and they're so mesmerized while their dogs are taking a dump. And they're so dutiful when they pick up the hot pile of shit, and I'm just so repulsed. And I want to ask you, dog lovers, you pet owners, like, don't you feel like there's something going on here, that something's wrong? You know, human beings are not meant to pick up dog shit. I don't care how much you love your doggo. It's not good. It's appalling. It's atrocious. Right? Do you feel, I don't know, responsible, dutiful? Do you feel proud? This is the right word. Do you feel proud when you pick up your dog's hot pile of shit with your hand covered in a plastic glove? Do you feel proud of yourself? Do you think that you are fulfilling your purpose as a decent human being? Right? Because I would fucking go crazy if I had to do this, right? I mean, people are so giddy. They're so hype to pick up their dog's shit, right? If I had a family member that would do this with pride and excitement, I would disown them. Human beings are not meant to behave in this manner. What do you do all day? I walk my dog and I pick up the pile of shit, right? I mean, what's going on here, folks? What's going on here? What are you doing with your life? You're wasting your life. Your precious time. But anyway, Jesus, right? Maybe I'm wrong. This is a possibility. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? So in conclusion, folks, leave animals alone. Stop putting stupid ass costumes on your animals. Okay? They're not yours. You cannot own them. The only reason you own a pet is because they provide that emotional comfort immediately, instantly. This is why people have pets. It is because an animal gratifies you immediately. You want a hug? Your doggo or your cat will give you a hug. No questions asked. No questions asked. Unconditionally. Whereas with a human being, well, let me tell you, a human being isn't so, another human being doesn't so easily give you that affection. And especially not for free. Some animals, they just give affection for free. So that is why people own pets. Right? Because it's so much easier than having to deal with another human being. And I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it's so yuck. It's a big yikes. Right? This is what human beings have become. This is the peak of humanity, the peak of our evolution. We own pets because we're gratified emotionally because it's so hard to deal with another human being. This is where we have arrived, folks, okay? And I think it is fucking hilarious. Okay, it is fucking hilarious, right? People, instead of having children and being responsible and becoming decent human beings, they would much rather have, I don't know, 5 cats, 3 dogs, a couple of parakeets, right? Because it's so much easier. You know, if your pet dies, whatever, you're gonna get another one. And this is another fucking problem, right? Something happens to your pet, you get another one. Hell, you might get 2 instead. 2 for 1. Isn't that just fucking amazing? Leave animals alone. They do not belong to you. Animals do not belong to you. Leave them alone. They're not your friends. They're not your buddies. They're not your babies. They're not your bros, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Stop fetishizing animals because they're cute. Okay? That's pretty much it. If you want to support your boy, I got a few books on Amazon. If you want to support your boy, the link will be down below. Thanks for watching. Leave animals alone. See ya.